Hello, family, friends, and fellow gamers. This is Grumpy Gnome, and I welcome you to a new series of Baldur's Gate. The old videos have been archived into an incomplete playlist where I have learned how to use OBS. I tinkered with some settings and I found my voice, and now I am comfortable enough to actually sit down and create a full length video series of Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. We are starting with a new character, and I plan to take that character and the original NPCs that will transfer to Baldur's Gate 2 in this adventure. Before we go any further, let's get down to some business matters. Please subscribe, share, comment, hit notifications, do all those things that every YouTuber asks you to do, but you somehow fail to do those. Please do those. I have been a guest teacher that has not been in a classroom for over 9 months due to COVID, and I'm really trying to find something new in life to do that may fulfill the enjoyment I had of being in a classroom, and hopefully these videos are that escape. So with that said, I really need your support to subscribe, share, and hopefully we can drive these videos up to a point where I can actually do this on a full-time basis. So without further ado, I'll pause while you hit subscribe. Okay, thank you. And let's get on with it. New game. And I'm not going to sit here for 2.5 hours and create a new character because that is boring for you. So let's simply import a character file of a previously recorded character. Appearance, that looks good. And voices.
Onward! I feel this is my rightful place. I will require rest soon. I should be more productive with my time.
I should be more productive with my time. And name, Carlo, looks good. Okay, Carlo is a play on a special character that I have grown fond of in Warhammer Fantasy Battles. If you are in my friend's gaming network, you know who I am referring to, and you're probably getting a little chuckle out of that right now. So, Karl Franz, here's my homage to you. Done. And escape. So we're going to do core rules because we don't need any advantages or disadvantages. And without further ado, cutscene.
Nestled atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Farron. It is an imposing fortress kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented, and it is home. Within these hallowed halls of knowledge, your story begins. You have spent most of your 20 years of life within this keep's austere walls, under the tutelage of the sage Gorion. Acting as your father, he has raised you on 1,000 tales of heroes and monsters, lovers and infidels, battles and tragedies. However, one story was always left untold, that of your true heritage. You have been told that you are an orphan, but your past is largely unknown. Lately, Gorion has been growing distant from you, as if some grave matter weighs heavily on his heart. You have asked about his concerns as gently as possible, but your queries have been in vain. Your sole comfort is the knowledge that he is a wise man, and you know he will tell you when the time is right. Nonetheless, his silence is troubling, and you cannot help but feel that something is terribly wrong. Today, Gorion has appeared more agitated than ever, and now he has uncharacteristically interrupted your chores in the middle of the day, imparting hurried instructions for you to equip yourself for travel. He has handed you what gold he can spare, but given no clue as to why. Nevertheless, you now stand before the Candlekeep Inn, ready to purchase what you need for an unplanned and unexpected journey.
All right. And we stand before the Candlekeep Inn. Okay, in this episode, we are going to cover the statistics of my character. We are going to do the little side quests inside the inn, and I am going to give you a little brief explanation as to how we're going to run this. So, before we go any further into the game, spoiler alert, this is a walkthrough. If you are not familiar with this game, you might want to stop the video at this time and come back at a later date. If you are familiar with it, if you are familiar with this game, by all means, sit back, enjoy. Hopefully, I can show you a thing or two that you may not be familiar with. And without further ado, let's go into the inn.
It will be done.
Okay, these little green robed characters are your tutors. If you're new to the game, they will hold your hand and show you all the aspects of gameplay, but we will not be speaking with them since we are familiar with the game. Okay, this character over here is Firebead Elvenhair, and he is our first NPC that we're going
It
to
will be done.
converse with.
It's hard to find decent folk nowadays.
Yes, it is. Okay, in a nutshell, Firebead wants an identify scroll from Tethril who can be found at the inner grounds. Now, once you get the identify scroll, you have one of two options. You can keep the scroll for yourself if you are a mage, or you can keep it for a mage that you will be picking up later in the game. Identify is a very potent spell because it will identify all magic, armor, weapons, potions, and such that you come across, and believe me, there's a lot. Otherwise, you are going to have to pay 100 gold pieces per item to have it identified. So, while I am tempted to keep it, I'm going to stay true to my alignment and return the scroll to Tethril, who will be giving us a healing potion instead or as a reward. So, here is the first hidden gem of the game. If you speak with Firebead exactly 30 times, he will put 300 gold into your purse. So, without further ado, and you can count with me as we go through our 10-based math lesson. Let's do this 30 times.
It's hard
Two,
to find
three,
decent
four,
folk nowadays.
5, 6,
It's hard to
7,
find
8,
decent folk
9,
nowadays.
10. 1, 2,
It's hard to
3,
find
4,
decent folk
5,
nowadays.
6, 7,
It's hard to
8,
find decent
9,
folk
10.
nowadays.
1, 2,
It's hard to find
3,
decent
4,
folk
5,
nowadays.
6,
It's hard to
7,
find decent
8,
folk
9,
nowadays.
10,
It's hard to find
and
decent folk
there it is.
nowadays.
Party got 300 gold. Thank you very much, Firebead, and we're done for now. Okay, Winthrop. Winthrop is quite the character. He is a jovial person that we have known for our 20 years here at the inn because we do daily chores for him. So, that being said, let's strike up a dialogue.
My hotel's as clean as an elven arse.
Okay, I do not have any familiarity with an elven arse, but I will take his word for it. So, hello there, young one. Come to visit your old pal, Winthrop. So, see, we're on a friendly basis here. So, he's asking for a 10,000 gold piece entry fee, and my choices are that is outrageous, which I probably wouldn't say because we are good friends. Or I could say you are always the big kidder, which will be my choice. Or this one down here, which is absolutely stupid, is I fear I do not have that kind of entry fee with me, as if, we have never met this person before in our life. So, 2 is appropriate. So, yeah, sure. What do you got here? Okay, You can rent a room if you are a mage that needs to rememorize spells, or you can purchase weapons and armor from Winthrop. And let it be known now that you can actually complete this entire game without purchasing any weapons and armor. And there are a few choice items that we do need to purchase that cannot be found outside. So, for instance, I am going to pick up some throwing axes. And I'm actually going to, buy him out. So that's done. And there is a character in Candlekeep who is always missing crossbow bolts. And I have the foresight to purchase those in advance. So we'll buy these 2 items and we're done. Now, before you can use an item, you have to equip it. And as you can see right now, I have no armor, which is a reflection up here. Armor class is 10, and now is a good time to let you know that Baldur's Gate is based on 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons. And with that being said, the armor class system in this game is the complete opposite of today's 5th edition. In Baldur's Gate, the lower your armor class, the better armored you are. And in 5th edition, the higher your armor class, the better armored you are. In this case, I have the absolute minimal armor class. However, my dexterity has a modifier of a -4, which takes me down to a 6. For the hit points, fighters start off with a base of 10, and because of my high, constitution, I get a +4. My constitution is an 18, and for any other class, 16 would be optimal. For a fighter, if you have a 17 constitution, you get a +2. If you have 18, you get +4. Thaco, which is 2-hit armor class 0, is a base of 20, and that's for 1st level. And my strength modification is a -2, and my proficiency also takes it to a -2. I'm currently wielding a quarterstaff that does 1d6 in damage, and because of my high strength, I get a +4 modifier, so any hit will cause 5 to 10 points of damage. The game gives you a default quarterstaff, and these are the throwing axes I have purchased, and I'm simply going to equip a couple of those, and I'll explain why I got throwing axes in a minute. And these are the bolts for Fuller. Okay, let's move on. Okay, over here is our first chest. Now, this chest is normally trapped, and the only purpose for that trap is to allow a thief character the ability to detect it and disarm it. In doing so, that thief will gain 25 experience points, but for any other character, it is simply a chest. So, it is locked. We are going to actually use our strength to break it open, and there's 18 gold, armor, and infravision. Okay, there is a dagger in here, and it's normally not a good practice to take items or break into chests and drawers when others are in the room, because they may summon the guards. If they do summon the guards on you, it does get ugly, and unless you want to take a reputation drop, you would be better off just resetting the game. Anyway, we have a very high, as a matter of fact, we're maxed out. Let me show you that. This is Carlo, and he is a level 1 Cavalier. My next level comes at 2,250 experience points. These numbers here, if you're familiar with Dungeons and Dragons, you will know what they mean. The only thing that we really need to be familiar with here is our reputation average, which will be going up. You can bring your reputation up to a maximum 20, in which your average will be at heroic level. As a paladin, actually a subclass of a paladin, I have the ability to lay hands on, and this is a healing spell that I can use twice before resting. The saving throws that you see here are based on a 20-sided die roll. For those of you who are not familiar with a 20-sided die, they look like this. So, poison, if I am attacked and hit by a spider, I might have to make a saving throw or be affected by the poison. Petrification can come from a basilisk, breath weapon from a dragon, spells from other magic users. Anyway, the saving throws are to avoid taking the full damage of such ability. My weapon proficiencies. I have chosen the axe because as a cavalier, I am forbidden to use missile weapons, so I cannot have bows or crossbows. However, a throwing axe is not considered a missile weapon, so for my ranged attacks, I have chosen the axe. I have given myself two specializations in it, and that is the highest I can go with any weapon. Now I have my ranged weapon, and for my melee weapon, I have chosen a warhammer, which is true to the character Karl Franz in Warhammer Fantasy Battle. And we will eventually come across a really nice magical warhammer in the game. So, a couple other additional bonuses here that you can pause and take a look at. Some resistances over here, and these are my character stats. I rolled a 94, and I settled on an 1880 for my strength. The 80 after the 18 is only applicable to fighters. Other classes do not gain from that extra strength ability. My dexterity, I chose the maximum of 18. So now my ranged weapons get a +4, and also my armor class has a +4 modifier. My constitution, I maxed that out at 18. As a fighter, you can gain the additional hit points. However, for any other class of character, 16 would be the maximum you can go to. My intelligence, since a cavalier is not intelligent based, I have chosen the minimum. That still allows me to use magic necklaces, wands, staves, and such. My wisdom, I did test it out, and unlike second edition, where a 15 or above gives you plus 10%, that does not apply in this game, so I settled for a 13, and I maxed out my charisma at 18, and I am about to show you the first charisma-based advantage in the game when we return to gameplay. As a cavalier, I have a natural resistance to fear, which means the horror spells are not going to affect me. My mind shield is up, so I will not be affected by sirens' songs. And I have a natural protection from poison, so when I do enter places like Cloakwood, I don't have to worry about the poison spiders. I am male, I am human, a cavalier subclass of paladin, and my alignment is lawful good. Once again, this is all based on second edition, and some of you may be familiar with this book. This is the book that I grew up on, and I still love it to this day. So let's get on with the game. All right, so we got our dagger, and this is our first charisma-based encounter. For the most part, the noble people in this game are very snooty and standoffish. However, you can engage these two in a dialogue, and we're simply going to comment on their wealth and how they might want to put it away and not be so flashy with it. So here we go.
No time to chit-chat.
Okay, step up to the heat, young one. You need it. And the noblewoman says, yes, darling, they are most standoffish. And she's referring to the monks that are here in the Candlekeep Library. And if you take a moment to look at the different dialogues that we have, the one that we're going to select is number 3. So, I would not let it concern you, my lady. Perhaps they are not used to the wealth such as yours. Quite wealthy are you, and they're so this is where we comment on their wealth. So we're going to click on it. Perhaps that's what it is. Look, we're showing off. And now they're going to go to the room and lock up their wealth. Only an 18 charisma will trigger this dialogue. Any other charisma lower than 18, and they just dismiss you. And capital idea, lovely. Perhaps we should lock it up. So up they go. And we're actually going to follow them up there. Okay. Now, how could I say this diplomatically? I'm not a thief. However, in the second edition, the Cavaliers and Paladins have a natural right to demand food and lodging when they are questing or on an adventure. And sometimes they need extra funds to fund their adventure. And so, what I like to say in the game is I am not stealing from people, but I'm merely collecting an adventure tax. So, to show you how that works, we'll enter the room.
Not a problem.
We've got a sleeping man here. And the rule with sleeping people are if you don't bother them, they don't bother you. And we're merely going to collect our taxes so we can carry on with our adventure. And this is a dwarf, a mighty dwarf. Okay. Potion of Clarity, one of the most popular potions in the game, very powerful. However, we do not need it because of our natural abilities that we have as a Cavalier. However, we will carry it along with us anyway. And 36 gold. Moving along. This is the Noble's room. And no matter how hard we try, we will not be able to break their lock. Any strength, even a half orc with 19, cannot force the lock. So the only way you can get into this is if you are a subclass thief with a open lock ability of 65 or higher. So we can sit here and pound on it and pound on it, and we're not going to get in. And over here, we have, to show you this, I need to make a open slot. So let's do this. Okay. We've got another noble person. And as I say, I have a bias, a high bias against nobles just because of their attitude. And he has a chest. So if we try to get into here, he will summon the guards. It'll get ugly, and we don't want to do that. However, because of my dislike for nobles, and this is the only time I am going to do it in this game, you can simply knock them out with a fist, boom, and then you go over here. We're going to go ahead, force the lock, and take his things, and before he even wakes up, we're out of here. Okay, that
With
is
ease.
the end of Candlekeep. And we picked up Fuller's crossbow bolt. We got our throwing axes, and we are done. I did not set the timer, so I have no idea how long we've been playing for. However, I am going to call the game right here. And in the next adventure, which is actually going to be episode 1, we are going to begin the side quests. Normally, we would go in a clockwise rotation where you can already see the next tutor is waiting over here. However, since we have everything that we need right now to complete all the quests, we are going to go counterclockwise and engage each side quest as we come across them. So, without further ado, let me once again emphasize the importance of your subscription to this channel. It doesn't cost anything. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications. If you see anything that you think is going to help me or be more beneficial for my videos, please leave a comment. And be sure to share this with your family, with your friends. This is all family friendly content, and it can be viewed safely by any age group. So, with that said, thank you very much for coming on this adventure with me, and I look forward to seeing you in episode 1 as we begin to clear out Candlekeep. Okay, guys, take care, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.